Hey, it's Spence, the evil genius.
Hey, how do you like the new intro? Welcome, everybody. It's Spence. It's office hours. It is Friday, October 24th, 2025. I didn't belabor you with the Evil Genius song this morning because I wanted to try. Okay, good. We got the audio working. Fantastic. I didn't want to bother you guys with the long intro because I want to jump right into it today. And I wanted to try the new media features here over in StreamYard. So today we're going to talk about the product, services, and pricing for your new automated business. And this is important because this week, couple wild things just to bring you up on the news. First of all, in the world of internet, we've experienced lots of wide open view as to the reliability of some services and the dependence on those services. Like 2 days ago, there was an AWS outage that caused a lot of major backbone stuff to stop working. Not us necessarily, but a lot of my WordPress colleagues had podcasts and things they were working on just be interrupted in the middle of the show because AWS's DNS had a issue. I don't think any of us need to worry about that, but it does bring to mind some science fiction where, you know, imagine the world if the internet stopped working right now. It's just kind of weird how much we actually rely on it. I mean, not many of us are equipped to go out and light a campfire and, you know, find some food to eat. So when we have these kind of reliances, it sort of puts into play that we're all willingly putting ourselves a little bit more and more into what's essentially an electronic gilded cage. Having said that, and quoting Joe Pentaglione from The Matrix, I know this steak isn't real, but I love it anyway. I think we're well beyond the point of being able to do anything about it. So now you either embrace it or you live in some kind of fairy tale, like, you know, Luddite world. All right. Why am I saying all this? I, for one, and by the way, I didn't want to say hi to everybody who's coming in, but is the audio and video good? Just let me know. Audio, video, okay. Okay. This week was filled with a lot of conversations where I am super duper duper excited that many of my customers, good morning, John. Many of my customers are literally starting to hit the ground running. And so today I want to bring it all home because I'm going to talk about three things. I'm going to talk about the products and services that I offer to you for you to use. Number two, I'm going to talk about how those products and services come down to your level and that you can choose one of three or more ways to use them to make either extra income as a side hustle or your livelihood. And number three, I want to talk about long-term prospects, what this means, the window of opportunity, because we're really at a fork in the road where the tools that we've been able to build have freaked me out in a good way, but made it that competitively, and this is the truth, you now have a window of opportunity to get way ahead of everybody else, to be the first in line. And I think what we're really trying to sell, as I've said so many times before, is not the technology. The technology that we are all experiencing as a first early adopter is going to be, okay, here comes kids. Here comes the $5 words, kids, is going to be ubiquitous, meaning everywhere in 5 minutes from now. We're already seeing, again, with this reference to the AWS, whether it's glasses or phones or cars or screens or couches or refrigerators or this or that, everything and everywhere and everybody is going to be basically voice, touch, taste, smell, interconnected. And when that happens, there's a financial incentive because everything has become a commodity to just literally give away all the connections. What I'm trying to explain to you guys right now, and I'm trying to do myself, is to become the concierge that leads the old world into the new. And in doing so, you can build a business, you can build a reputation where you are the person, the human being for whom other people, from whom I should say, other people seek knowledge, other people seek advice. You can become a concierge. I really think at the heart of what I'm doing is that business. And it really always has been. If you look back in my earliest 18, 19 years ago videos, or if you look at the businesses I did in the real world with real estate and law and aviation, it was really the same kind of a thing, right? That's the nature of being an entrepreneur. And I'm trying to be very clear that the things that I show you today, as whiz-bangy as they are really just the latest way of saying, hey, Spence had a pain that he solved for himself and he's solving it for you. And he's the guy to talk to. And you can be that person for your audience. Okay. All right. So let's jump into it. Keep me honest today, by the way, on the, look at that, zoom in. I'm going to put this down below. So I'm not going to be rude, but I'm going to hopefully get this out of the way. I have to always scale this a little bit. Sorry, you know me, to get that into my screen. Okay. I can control everything now from down below, and hopefully I will not forget the screen. Let's start with the products and services stuff, but I would be remiss if I didn't bring in how are we doing things. So let's start out with this. On my left, ladies and gentlemen, is Claude. On the right is just my Chrome browser, and I'm showing various things over here that we're going to get into in a second. I want to say that one of the things, good morning, Sharon. Haven't seen you in a while. Good morning. And I'm glad that you are with me for a long, long time. Sharon and I have known each other now, at least, I'm going to say over a decade. At least, maybe from the earliest days of Widget Laboratory, lab secrets and stuff like that. Okay. I'm going to try to be thorough, but not get off track. So what are the tools that we're using? What are the products? First concept, and this is an important concept because if you don't really understand this, everything else I'm talking about is sort of, what? Like I'm talking about how to make recipes with things, but we don't know the ingredients. After these many months since the July hot tub incident, where it occurred to me that we essentially, I'll come back to the browser, where it essentially occurred to me, we're going to have to go into AI. At first, I thought everything was going to be directly through the WordPress website interface, but then it became very clear that with these agentic desktop tools, like I'm showing here with Claude desktop, or bring him out, baby, Fernando is back. Not for all of you, but for some of you, you are going to, let me clean him up a little bit. You are going to be working with your own cursor. I'm not saying you guys are, I am saying I am, and I'm going to open them up in the same way so you can kind of see here. If I open up, I styled him to say, this is Fernando, but he's a special version of Fernando. He's working on a project for the Claude desktop software. Okay. And I'm going to say, bueno, Fernando, ¿cómo estás? Hey, use your memory. It's Spence. I've got you on screen here like I have for Claudio. I'm just using you as a demonstration to show that we're working together on the various MinuteLaunch stuff. Say hello. So I've turned off his voice, but I've made him look and feel and act like Claude, so there's a continuity. You might have noticed in past videos, he was more styled in a light theme. We can change his theme, by the way, and you can do it too if you do @themes, or you can do themes. And you can basically change the look and feel, or you can set him up differently. But so he's here, he's talking about what he's doing. Here's the difference between the two. A Claude desktop is really, really easy for lay people to use. It's really, really easy for you to use. It's really, really easy for your clients to use because you simply go to Claude desktop download. And when you do, whether you're on a Mac or a PC, it installs like a normal application, and like 2 seconds later, you're up and running. And as I've shown you, you just have to drop in one file, a DXT file that I've created from MinuteLaunch. So you go here to MinuteLaunch Claude. You are only, proper English, Spence, you are only needing one plugin, the MinuteLaunch plugin, and that gives you access to MinuteLaunch Claude. And you click this button, and it generates a custom DXT file or desktop extension file, and you drop that into Claude. Similarly, and note, John Lawler, who was very gracious enough to say hi to me all week, where's the updates? Where's your daily update? And I said, John, I really suck because I promised daily updates. I did 2 daily updates this week, and then I missed 2. And the reason was I've been burning the candle at both ends 18 hours a day for what I'm going to show you here. One of the things I did is I developed, and I almost have it figured out perfectly, is Cursor. So with the download of a DXT file, you can one-click install Claude. I'm going to pull up a tool here called PowerShell. If you are in Windows or in Mac, you have a built-in tool called PowerShell or Terminal. I hope this is showing. Let's see if it shows. I have to see whether yeah, okay, good. So this little doodad here is called PowerShell. It's a terminal. When you use the cursor, it's very similar to the DXT, except what it does is it copies something that you can then immediately put into PowerShell, and you simply say paste and hit enter, and it does this. Now, I don't know if you can see that, but what that did is exactly the same. And then I just closed the window. That installed Claude. This is the wrong term. That installed the MCP for MinuteLaunch into the cursor tool. Now, if I ask him, we're working out some of the details, and I say, hey, listen, which WP MCP tools do you have available that are working right now? I know we were working out a couple of the esoteric ones like Spence style, but list out the ones that you've got access to for my MinuteLaunch site. What I've been able to do is with one click, give either Claude or Fernando full control over my WordPress MinuteLaunch site. Now, think about what that means. I've got an agentic tool sitting on my desktop or my laptop or whatever, and it is able to do all of the cool stuff on my site that I would normally have to do using the old-fashioned WordPress management tools, which are really clunky, really slow, really hard to learn, have a billion different controls, right? And yes, Sharon, sorry about that. Maybe it is long. I think it's going on 15 years, and I love having you as my friend. So what he's done here is, for example, Cursor, call him Fernando, has indicated these are all the things that he can do, right? Look at all this stuff. Core WordPress operations, user management, file system, database, advanced management, plugins and themes, setting configuration, WooCommerce. Spence style, we're having a little headache with this morning. I'm not sure why. We're going to figure it out. MinuteLaunch, Media Hub, MinuteLaunch, Image Editor. Okay, so let's take a pause, go solo here. What am I saying? As easy as I just showed you, for you or your clients, MinuteLaunch today allows you to put one plugin in that's a client plugin. And by the way, the plugin installation is still traditional WordPress, but that's just click and install, right? Like you literally can do it even faster because with most of the tools here, they will just go get an online file and, you know, get it to you. But like, let's say you install one plugin file. And by the way, the plugin looks just like any other plugin. So if you go here to the plugins directory, the main file is called MinuteLaunch Plugin Manager. That's the only thing that you need to install. Okay. Now, if in fact, all we need to do is install one plugin, from there, one button click, and you or your clients, if they have their own MinuteLaunch setup, can install to a desktop agentic partner, Claude or Cursor. Cursor is not that difficult to install. It's just the Cursor has a lot more tools and things to do. And I am hesitant to, if you're not a, heavy duty, I'm hesitant to turn this over. This is kind of like, you know what a metaphor, it's like my kids and I love, this is a longer story, but my kids and I, they're all driving age, except one's almost driving age. He's getting his permit. We love all the vintage cars. Okay. But guess who's the only one in the family that knows how to drive a stick shift? You're looking at him, right? So Cursor is a little bit like a car with a stick shift, a manual transmission. It provides an incredible wealth of capability, possibility, tools. It can do so much more in some ways because of one reason. Cursor allows me to choose, and you cannot see this very well, but in the bottom left, I can choose from every single public LLM model, number one. I can go in different modes. So as a business, Cursor is a third-party company that's acting as an interface where you can essentially set up all your favorite tools all connected together and have really incredible control over everything. That is amazing, but that great power comes with some extra responsibility because it's a little bit more to set up. Not hard, but like more stuff to set up and more to learn. Whereas Claude is like, he's the dude. He's just, hey man, let's have fun. And all of his tools are built in. But here's the business model. Is Ann Stevenson here today? Attention, Ann Stevenson, please come down to the office. Principal Foreman would like to see you. Ann was talking to me this morning we text off and back and forth that Anthropic had a bad day yesterday a little bit because of the day before, either because of the outage or because they were adding this new memory capability. But the benefit of Claude is that company, Anthropic, is actually providing LLM services at a higher level. So imagine the difference. Cursor is a tool that is built by a third party that is agnostically able to connect all tools from everybody. Business model is sort of a little in jeopardy at the moment because the tools that actually provide the LLM services like Anthropic and ChatGPT, they're providing their own agentic tool, which kind of feels like Claude is probably going to win the race. I don't think Cursor is going to go away, but that's why I'm suggesting to you, I'm leaning heavily on Claude. Now, Claude has one major limitation, which is annoying as all hell, and I have no understanding why they keep doing it. If you use, and this is why I said Cursor has an advantage to me. If I'm doing coding with Cursor and I'm doing a long-term project, Cursor never, ever, never, 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 ever, never tells me, sorry, Spence, you're out of memory. You got to go to the next chat. Whereas Claude, he's like 3/4 and then you have to walk home because you have nothing to call mom and dad from the bowling alley. So we've had to develop these processes like with Claude where put all of your projects, put all your stuff in a project, because what's going to happen is you're going to start working with whatever you're doing. Like here's Xander, I was working with him yesterday, and it's going to run out of tokens because there's a 200 to 250,000 token, whatever reference that means, limit to each chat when you're in Cursor. And then for some weird reason, I do not know why, you can just keep adding more chats. Like there's no end to what you can do, but they make you do it in chunks of 200 to 250,000, which is maddening to me. Whereas with Cursor, I could just keep going forever and ever and ever. Okay. And what's interesting to me is that makes it easier in the long run for doing stuff. However, I've developed things for you guys that make Claude work super well. And one of the things I want to also show you before we go on to the actual MinuteLaunch stuff is that if we go into Claude's, let's go into a chat here. It doesn't matter what chat I'm in. Let's go in any chat. If you click here on the tools, right, we can add in the MCPs from multiple sites. So you notice here, and I was doing this yesterday live, I can have two different websites. Notice the suffix e4x7.wpd, and these are two different rocket sites. I can have two of them open. I can have as many as I want, but if I have two of them open, I can tell Claude, take it from this site and move it to that site, or from that site and move it to this site. And that's actually super beneficial. One of the videos I did do this week was to actually show how this has made my life infinitely easier when fixing client sites. Yes, and John brings up a point. This is what I do not understand. I do not understand this at all. If I am using Cursor and I have Claude Sonnet 4.5, the very same LLM model that I'm using in Claude Desktop, I can go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Now, you will notice there's a context window here, and I think the reason is because the API, I think, is 1 million tokens. And I think what happens is I start to hit problems around 300, 400, 500,000 tokens. And that's where if I'm only getting 200, 250 out of the desktop of Claude, I run out before I even get to the point where I'm frustrated. Whereas with Cursor, I'm able to go beyond it. There has been maybe once or twice that I've had to start a new chat in Cursor. But in any event, the way we get around it is using project files, having multiple sites, maybe one or two connected, using the other tools. And boy, oh boy, Cursor is amazing, amazing. So let me give you an example. Yesterday, one of our friends here, Xander Holt, who's been using MinuteLaunch since the beginning, since we called it Lunch Kit. He runs a men's health site that was built with the same legacy tools, right? Legacy meaning the original generation of Launch Kit, where, you know, it's the same stuff that's in the software bundle. And boy, Xander's been a great friend, a great client. He moved from frustration into wow. And so we started talking about what's the next step. And so he joined the club, like most of you guys. And so yesterday we had our first onboarding. In 3 minutes, we connected Claude to his site, which again, I'll show you under the hood. Here's his dashboard. And you can see Claude and all the other components that are connected. But the point is we connected it, and as simple as that, his site is 7SQ1V. So if we were to go over here into the chat, you will see that it's probably, the tool is still there. I might not have them connected. Here it is. Right. So you just match the suffix EQ1V. Actually, he is connected, which is awesome. So here, what I'll do is I'll turn this off and I'll be like, let's go and talk to the site. Let's say hi to Claude. So I go to projects and I go to Xander Holt. Now, why do I do this? I do this for two reasons. One, Claude can talk to all my pals, all my websites. I don't want him to be confused where if I say, oh, do this blah, blah, blah thing, he doesn't know which site to do it on. So by being very specific, when I switch the toggle to one site, I'm really in good shape. If I have two sites, I'm increasing the chances of him being confused. But by having only one site toggled on, I'm really pretty sure he's only going to think of one thing. Number two, I'm in a project. So when he runs out of quarters to call mom and dad, or I do, it's pretty easy. By the way, worth mentioning, if you go here to file settings, one of the reasons that Anthropic had a bad day, week, month, year was they added new memory, which is really awesome. So they've got this testing thing that it's clearly working out, is that besides artifacts and code execution, look, there's a new option in the memory from my last video. Generate memory from chat history, search and reference chats. Is this AutoMem? Not even close, but it is getting there. If you click on learn more, and you guys can do that, you can read what I wrote, which is everybody is going to the same thing, which is we all know that it's necessary to have agentic long-term vector database memory, because otherwise you just stuck with this endless sort of like, as I use the Waffle House metaphor, I've been in this Waffle House before and they never recognized me. Why is that? So this helps you understand a little bit more about managing the current memory. So now, for me at least, he's got standard memory, he's got chat memory, he's got generated memory from chat history, and he's got the worth it, but expensive, but worth it, AutoMem. Okay. And again, a question was asked of me as well, Spence, do I need AutoMem for my clients? You don't need it, no, but it's going to make a big difference right now in 6 days, weeks, months, year. Will it matter? I don't know. Maybe not, because maybe in the future, the memory is so good from the LLM itself that it'll replace it. I'm pretty sure that's their plan. I mean, that would be my plan because it makes such a difference. Okay, so let's see what I'm talking about. I'm like, hey, bueno, Claudio, it's Spence. Guess what? We're at a live office hours again. Use your auto memory and recall what you know about office hours and my audience. So remember, even inside of a project, even with the memory set on, the first time I talk to him every day, I have to be like, doing, hey, R2D2, it's me, remember? And look what he's going to do. He's going to look for 3 types of memories, and we can see it now. The A, if you can see that, the A is AutoMem, okay? He went right to AutoMem, which is awesome. So when you have AutoMem, all's good with the world. If you go standard memory, he would be more like, what was your name, sir? What are you talking about? This is a Waffle House. Okay, so he knows everything about you guys and what I'm doing, but I'm going to ask him something. Hey, also check your memory. Recall we were working yesterday with Xander Holt to onboard him to his new site. Do you remember that? Of course he does. I'm being redundant, but I want to show you because he built some crazy cool stuff while I was talking to Xander. Not the least of which, we did this letter to Xander that gave him his credentials. So look, he's telling us what we did yesterday. We created his demo content. We built a dynamic content hub, category filtering, grid layout, his brand, his Polaroid photo. I'm going to show you this stuff. And we also onboarded him as a user, as the administrator to his site. So here's the thing, kids. When I actually was onboarding a real paying client using this, guess what I did? I sent him an email through the old system of WordPress with, WooCommerce, but Xander said, I don't know, man, I didn't get the email. He didn't say it like that, but he said, hey, Spence, I didn't know I even got the site. And I said, okay, I apologize. Here's the credentials. And I said, Claude, or in this case, Claudio, can you please onboard Xander? He went and got the information, got the credentials, made sure it was good, had Xander put in as the administrator, and then I had him write a letter that duplicated what would have been sent in, let's say, a new version of the MinuteLaunch Spencer Foreman business and yours, which was, here's a custom letter in his brand, his font from his existing website, but it's on his new website because I had asked Claudio to go ahead, and you guys can see this letter. I had asked him to do this as if it was being sent to a new customer. And these are the kind of differences, by the way, of the old and the new. Of course, we're still sending emails from WooCommerce. Of course, we're still using your CRM, but it was able to find what Xander's old website was, get all of his styles pixel perfect, and automatically create an onboarding letter. Then I was talking to Xander about a couple other clients, Alyssa Kuhn and a few others who have businesses similar to his. And we said, let's make an example of dynamic content, because what Xander wants to do, which is a lot of what I'm doing for you guys, is to have the ability to dynamically create content on the fly for customers based upon their particular needs and wants. And so we use Spence style. And on the first try, I swear, he came up with this dynamic, look, it's even got parallax, which is just weird to me that he did it. He created a simulated database of knowledge. This is not live content, of course, but that doesn't matter. This is just going to Xander's website, pulling up some example topics and doing something like this. Just to show you the difference, I also have, I might have closed it. I have another client I'm working on that's doing the same kind of things, but you can see he did that here for MinuteLaunch. He can create faceted search, dynamic content libraries as easy as just being asked. And this is really crazy impressive, including, I said, go grab the image of a fella on the front page, put him in a Polaroid picture, and so forth. Now, let's see if he can do something else. I'm going to tell him something really weird. Hey, listen, are you still able to publish on Xander's site with Spence style? Are you connected with the MCP tools? So I also gave him a rule that said when my voice tool says Xander, it uses an X for some reason, but Xander's name is spelled with a Z. See, he knows to say Xander with a Z, which is also really important because you don't want to have to deal with typos when you're talking. Okay, so one of the things is if it's showing a 404, what that means is typically see what happened here is it's just the wrong site. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to turn him off. Well, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to turn him on, and then I'm going to turn him off. Because what happens is sometimes, and I don't exactly know why, Claude likes it when you reset the tool. No big deal. But when you reset the tool to choose what you really want to use, because I have so many choices. So now it's connected, and I go back to where I was at, and he should be fine. Let's go here. So I'll go in the same chat. I'll be like, okay, you know what? I just rebooted you because I know you like that. Can you see Xander's site now? It ends in SEQ1V. And just make sure you're at the right place. That's all I'm saying you need to do. See, he's calling up the W, which means it's for sure. Spence list pages is one of our capabilities. Okay, good. So he's got the tool. So this is what's awesome, right? This is interesting too, because he's got a page that was not one of the pages he should have had, but let's do this. You know what I noticed yesterday? I was accidentally working with you, and I put some content from another client on you because I forgot to turn you off for this website. Can you show me the link to page 21, please? So what I'm saying is, imagine a world where you're working, and whether it be your phone or your desktop, but you got a microphone, and now I can have him helping me understand what's going on by giving me links, right, to the other site. Or to any site. See, this is from that other client I was mentioning where we were doing this really cool dynamic stuff, right? Now, this is a single page site. This is from another client altogether. It accidentally got put on here. So what I'm going to tell him is, okay, do me a favor. This doesn't belong here. Can you just put this page in the trash for now? And I'll come back to it later if I need to move it, or I'll ask you to move it. Okay, so instead of me doing all the editorial stuff, I can just say, hey, get rid of that. No problem. He gets rid of it. Simple. Okay. Notice he asked me for permission either once or never or always. I always say always. Now, let's see. I think Xander must have been playing because I don't remember doing that bioavailability calculator. Interesting. I haven't seen this bioavailable testosterone calculator. I think maybe Xander made that. Can you show me that page? By the way, this stuff, John is asking Claude instructions from the phone. Absolutely. Absolutely. You need to understand one limit to this though. It was like 4 weeks ago, I was doing a bunch of videos where I had Claudio and Fernando talking to me, and I had an interface with the phone. The limitations of what you can do mobile at the moment are imposed by Anthropic and ChatGPT. They are freaked out, rightly so, with the kind of capability for people to get phished. So what they're doing is they're saying you can't do a lot of stuff right now from the browser that you could normally do from the desktop. But they're showing signs of changing that because, like I showed you in one of the videos this week, notice this little doodad. It's a browser extension for Claude. Anthropic themselves have started to make it possible to do stuff from the browser. So as soon as they put in some safety nets, I think is the way to say it, as soon as they figure that out, I think they're going to loosen up and they're going to let stuff happen. But right now, you can only do stuff through the phone that is allowed. And that means some of the agentic stuff that I'm doing now is not necessarily possible, but it will be. Okay, so let's see what Xander actually made here, because I don't think I did this. Let's see what he did. Interesting. So Xander, I don't know what he built here, but like he used what appears to be the very same Claude to start building what he was talking about and asking me about, which is somebody being able to put in some numbers and get some results, right? And I have no idea what this is supposed to be because I'm not in his business. Apparently that's too high for testosterone, -3. Let's do 33 or something. The point is, Xander was already able to make something. And Xander, if you're here, jump on, but I don't know if he's here. This is what I'm talking about. Okay. So what's the takeaway for the moment? The takeaway for the moment is the primary thing we're doing, and now I'm going to get into the goodies, is we have the ability to communicate in 3 ways through agentic tools. 1 is a desktop agent. 2 is directly in the site itself through some of the means I'm going to show you. 3 is through a browser type connection or a remote connection like a phone. I've indicated the benefits of some of them. The best overall results you get is an agentic tool because you get a mix of all of the things of your tools and your world and everything else in one spot. Hold on, I got hand lotion on, John. I will turn off your thing in a second. And the next best is probably what I'm going to show you now, which is directly through the website, because then you can use your phone, by the way, as I'm going to show you. You just can't get a combination of things like, let's say I have my desktop tool that connects to my file system and so on. So I can't necessarily get my desktop stuff through my phone if I'm talking directly to the website, right? The third is through a browser. And that, to me, was the holy grail. And it appears they're getting close, because one of the things that Anthropic is doing, and that's an update, again, not for me per se, but in general, is they're doing Claude Code Browser Edition. This was pretty exciting because I don't use Claude Code. I don't like it. But Claude Code on the web means that if you're a developer, you will be able to use your browser, either mobile or desktop, to essentially do coding projects. So we're all ending up at the same spot, right? John asks, can a Claude skill via desktop connect with an... Yes, John, I had to read your question twice. John is asking if we add a skill to Claude, which is one of the things I'm showing you and teaching you here, and I'm going to be sharing with you. By the way, one of the reasons that I'm doing stuff with this website is experimentally figuring out how to create skills that will be accessible by all of your MinuteLaunch AI systems. In other words, imagine a thing where you or your client buys MinuteLaunch and it's like a brand new hire. It has no skills. You could just go, or maybe built into the plugin, it will say, go get all your skills from over here at this free resource that have everything you need to know about anything that's relevant. And this library can continue to grow. Immediately, it can work. Okay. Now watch this. I can even do this now. And this is not tested, but let me turn your face off here, John. Sorry. If I go to Claudio, like so, hey, listen, I had a great question from our friend, John Lawler. By the way, look up John Lawler in your memory, because I think he's one of our more prolific friends and clients here. He asked whether or not I can give you skills. And so I just gave you a link to a complete page building guide that actually is a few weeks old now, on a skill on how to build pages. What do you think of that guide? Will that help you make a new example page here on Xander's site while we're doing a live demonstration? So this is like giving a user's manual to your new employee. Excuse me. And in doing so, your employee suddenly is superpowered with like, oh, I know how to do that. So this is essentially where we're going. And there's three ways. I know there's always three ways, right? There's three ways to give a skill. You can give it by telling it directly. Two, having it create or you upload it to its hard skill memory. Or three, through a skill that's available dynamically like this. So sorry, John outed you a little bit, but yes, he's very favorable. And I'll scroll up your phone number there. So, and yes, this guide's fantastic. What this is brilliant, addresses pain points, how I reference the guide. Okay, so let's do this. Build a page using that guide, but now you also have the Chrome developer tools that give you pixel perfect capability to emulate pages. So make a page that looks and feels and acts like XanderHolt.com here on the new Xander site to demonstrate you have the capacity to understand that. Can you do that? And why don't you also search your memory or look in my emails for what's today's topic? Because today is Friday, October 24th, and I'm doing a live office hours. So you have enough information about me to know that there's a topic for today's office hours. Why don't you do a little demo of that? Do something real quick so we don't spend too much time. So what I'm giving him is a skill remotely that he can then be told to remember in his memory. But in the meantime, notice he's recalling memories. But in the meantime, well, hold on, I'm going to tell him, hold on. You should look inside of my email or Gmail for today because you got a copy of it. Or you can search your memory because I used you in another chat for creating today's topic. I'm going to just interrupt him and send him that little news brief. So what I'm saying is, you can use the skills from an existing library, or I could hard code it. I give him the memory to go look up different things along with tools like Gmail, as well as searching across other things that might be unrelated to what he's doing. And then I'm saying, use another tool, by the way. He's sort of wrong, but it's okay. if he takes the tools that he's got in him to be able to find out the details of the skill that are required, like go to a website, get the pixel perfect. He's a little confused because I said that. Pixel perfect website creation. Use the guide on how to do it. He's like a human being, right? He's got 2 hands, 2 eyes, 2 ears. He's got a book. He's got somebody telling him what to do. He's sitting at a desk with a computer. He can start doing that stuff. You were not correct about the pixel perfect website cloning is today's topic, but that's okay. I'm not too worried about you missing that because you're inside of a project. And I know I've told the folks here that when you're in a project, your memory is limited. That's why I'll just let you go ahead and do that idea. Use the guide that I just gave you from Adam, along with the information about Xander's site, and make that page. Okay. So this is a great question too. So Lloyd's asking, where does he get the pixel perfect? So there's tools available that are public MCPs. One of them is the Chrome Developer Tools MCP. This is currently what he is using, and it is available for you or anybody to add simply by following the instructions here, which while he's doing that, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to actually close his Chrome browser because I'm going to use my Chrome browser. He's controlling that browser. Okay. Chrome Developer Tools MCP. These are available either from the Chrome developer site or for GitHub. What it does is it gives you a link, an NPX link, very similar to what I just showed you. And you can install this into Claude, which is what I've done here. So if you look here, see where it says Chrome Dev Tools, he has the eyes and ears now. Now, I was talking to Ann and John and a few other folks. I think that that's like something that would be really useful if I build it into the regular MinuteLaunch WMCP. In other words, I'm already giving you this 170 tools. Maybe I could give you these tools as well. But right now, all you would need to do is go here. You follow the instructions. You can see here the requirements. And essentially, the only big deal about this, which is a little bit geeky, is that you have to copy this little snippet and you have to install it inside of his JSON file, which means that if I'm not going to do it because he's running something, but if I open him up, there's a JSON file. It's a configuration file. You have to copy this little snippet in there. And it also installs a Node.js server, which is, again, this is why I'm trying to avoid being too geeky. These extra tools that are available are amazing, but I'm trying to simplify everything down to like, what if I just had one click and all of them were available? Nevertheless, that is what gives him the eyes and ears. And then combined with the skills, he now has the capacity to do, hopefully we'll see what he's got here, is pretty good looking site. So let's see what he did. I think I like it because watch this. This is what he came up with. That is crazy awesome. He actually did a great job. So again, this is Xander Holt. I didn't, by the way, tell him to build xanderholt.com. He just kind of assumed. But then he took that and he built this on the new site. Now, one of the things he got wrong is the images. So I'm going to say to him, hey, you know what? You did a freaking great job there. That was amazing. I can't believe it. I didn't actually want you or ask you to build the exact site, but it's crazy that you did that. You missed the image. So what I need you to do is grab that image from the front page of Xander Holt and use your media tools, the ones in the MinuteLaunch, to copy that over into the Xander Holt website that you're controlling, the one SEQ1V. Because right now the hero doesn't have an image showing. Okay, so he essentially is calling to an image that's probably elsewhere and it's being blocked, or he has something wrong with the URL. So what we're going to do is just tell him to grab it. He's got these tools, and I'm going to show you now after we're done with him that he can grab that stuff and he can bring it into the media library. As simple as that. And the reason that that's awesome is that not only for the practical thing, like let's say you're trying to emulate a design, but let's say literally it is one of your client sites, or it's one of the legacy sites that's built on Elementor or Divi or Beaver Builder or whatever. This gets you 90% of the way easily, and he can actually bring it in. And if I wanted to, I could help him, and I could just go like this, right? Oh, this is interesting. The reason he's having trouble with it is, let me see why you can't actually see that image on xanderholt.com. Oh, because it's locked into some weird cadence thing. So here's the image. I'm going to say copy link address. I'm just going to give it to him. If you help them along, it's again comparable to, you've got a new person working at your office and you can watch them struggle all morning, or you can be like, hey, Bob, Susie, hold on. This is how you do that thing. And you show them one time and they're good to go. Now watch, he's using the MinuteLaunch AI media tools to go grab that. And now he's just going to update the site. And then we should have, ta-da, like, you guys, I hope you can understand, and I'm not trying to toot my horn here a little bit, but like, I'm sure you can understand why I'm so freaked out. Some of these things that he's doing now have been a pipe dream for a long time, and it's just been a couple months since the hot tub incident. We're able to do, like, he can do database cleanup, he can set permalinks, he can go get media. I'm going to show you the crazy stuff he can do in a second. But like the idea that he could just do this, there, it's fixed, done. Come on. Come on. You can argue all day long with me about, oh, look at the new features of my page builder. And look, we've got full site editing capability in WordPress. And I'm like, that's great, man. Enjoy the horse and wagon, because me and everyone else are in like some starship to another galaxy right now where everything is done like this. Now, watch this. See where it says lifestyle solutions for the modern man. I'm going to do some stuff here. Okay. Okay. First of all, let's just demonstrate how quickly and easily you can just change stuff. So here's the header says lifestyle solutions for the modern man. Change that into, hey, everybody, it's Spence. Okay. I just tell him what I want, or I can paste it in. He can do all the editorial. He can take this page, he can move it to MinuteLaunch. He can go in MinuteLaunch and he can create media. He can share the media from Minute, like anything you want to do mechanically, aesthetically. Okay, it's done. You know, change that into italic and change the font into some kind of script font. Again, I could be more specific, or I could ask him for advice. But the point is, these things are easy, and you don't have to use AI like some dumb AI, like a template build. I'm not saying one company's bad or whatever. It's a lot of people built AI into things like make a pretty website page. And I'm like, that's fine, but that is not the same thing as an agentic partner or tool who understands the business. Because look, if you wanted to do so, you could take this whole page and we could move you over to MinuteLaunch or something, right? And the way I'd move you over to MinuteLaunch is all I need to do is turn on MinuteLaunch. I've turned on your MinuteLaunch connection. If you can see your connection to MinuteLaunch, take this page and make a new page at MinuteLaunch.com with all the data from here. Okay. Now, I might have to reboot him for this, because sometimes when I turn his brain on for another site mid operations, he doesn't see it. By the way, notice we just hit the length limit. So let's do this. One of the things that I do all the time is, now that I have a project, I just go, hey, Claude, you were about to do a task for me in the last chat. Use your memory and your auto memory and continue from where I left off. I was about to ask you this question. And I just give him something like that, which is sort of like, hi, Grandpa, remember me? I'm your grandson. Because at the moment, this is the limitation of his normal memory. So you have to tell him, like, look in your wallet. You'll see a picture of us together, Grandpa. And this is annoying only because it happened with 200,000 tokens instead of 1 million tokens. If it was 1 million tokens and I was on Cursor, we'd have built like 1,000 pages by now. All right, so watch. He's going to move this to MinuteLaunch. And by the way, once I'm on MinuteLaunch, I'm going to blow you guys away with the last part of this. I want to show you all the new tools and things that I built and what's happening, because for you guys, that's where the money maker's at as well. But just imagine that you have a skill on how to do something for a client that has business tools, calculators, mechanical functions, automation. It does literally things that would have taken hundreds of thousands of dollars of app development. And you can then launch it on a new site instantly, simply by new site, one plugin, turn on the connection, rock and roll. Okay. So now he moved it to MinuteLaunch.com. Let's take a look. Magic ensues. Now, on MinuteLaunch, he has got media tools. Hey, you've got a bunch of media tools on MinuteLaunch, don't you? Right? So you can, for example, create a new AI image and replace that dude in the hero with a AI image, right? So I have access to a couple things I'm going to show you manually, but he has the ability to find images on the internet, use images in the media library, take P2P images from any connected hub site, or generate with AI. So he's telling you what he can do, right? So he's doing it on his own. He's kind of set in eager beaver mode. What I've had to do with my cursor is this morning, I actually had to tell my cursor, I said, like, chill the F out, dude. Every time I talk to you, let's have a conversation before you run off and do stuff, because it's like somebody who's drank too much coffee, right? Like you're talking to them and they're like, hey. So I had to tell them, chill the F out. Let's discuss this and then wait till I say what I want you to do. Okay. So he says he's redone this. Let's see what he's got. And there it is. So now I can be very specific. So let me go behind the scenes and show you how amazing some of these new tools are. And let's do a review of what we've got. There are a dozen other tools going on, but okay, Sharon's asking a question. Sharon, you're only left behind because you haven't been here for the last couple weeks. MinuteLaunch is the preferred tool over LaunchKit plugin. No. This is what I'm going to discuss, and that is an awesome question. MinuteLaunch is the new name for what LaunchKit was, because LaunchKit has 10,000 people using the word. If I searched Google for LaunchKit, what happened was, and this was several months ago, look at all the crazy LaunchKits that come up. LaunchKit this and LaunchKit that and LaunchKit the other. If I search for MinuteLaunch, there's me. That's the reason. So number one, Sharon, fantastic question. I love you for that question. LaunchKit was a rebranding because it was probably a mistake when I made LaunchKit to go with that. Okay, good. Number two, as I will talk about in a minute, and I sorry to go long for you guys, but I like Launch. I love MinuteLaunch because you can click in a minute and you launch. That's it. That was the whole idea originally. But WP Launchify, when you actually look at the bundle, today is the last day. You don't have to worry about it because I believe, oh, maybe not. I don't know. I know you've been a paid member of a lot of my stuff. Today is the last day of this pricing of $97 for MinuteLaunch, because what I'm going to talk about at the end here is where I've decided to go with the pricing plans and stuff. But this is MinuteLaunch is the same as LaunchKit. This has been this way for months. You just didn't notice it. And the software bundle for $47, it's going away. Anybody who is grandfathered in will keep it. Anybody who has MinuteLaunch for $97 will keep it. After this webinar today, this will no longer exist, and I'm going to explain why. So thank you for the question. I'm going to follow up on that. Okay, but back to the show. So if we go over here, I don't know if I was on that actual page, but let me see. Was I here? Here? Was I here? Here? I'm going to just go to the right. Okay. Right now, inside of MinuteLaunch are the following primary tools. There's the Claude MCP, which, by the way, I like that it's called Claude MCP, but there's also cursor MCP. So I may change the name on this to just ML MCP. Okay. MCP is the thing it does. It's an MCP, Model Context Protocol Connector, like an API. But Claude was the first one I did. And now that he works maybe with, by the way, let's just check this now that he works here. Bueno, Fernando, I have a question. I have Claude working on the same MinuteLaunch site. Do you see, list the last pages that were created on MinuteLaunch.com. Let's see if he's functioning here, because he's working on the same site. I can have as many agents as I want working on the site. I can have an army of agents working on the site. Okay, there's the Xander Holt homepage demo, right? And notice it gives me this nice link. I can open it up. Okay. Hey, listen, I want to show people that you're awesome and you can do a ton of stuff. Can you modify that page and do a little research on me, Spencer Foreman? Change that page to make it about Spencer Foreman and WP Launchify. And also go to the WPLaunchify.com site and get the pixel perfect color schemes that I use. So change it from Xander's style and content to Spencer Foreman, WP Launchify. Okay. So, and I'll say Xander because he doesn't necessarily know it's Z. I'm not 100% sure his capabilities because the cursor, I'm still working it out. But while he's doing his magic on that, all I'm saying is I can have unlimited agentic helpers, some of them with different benefits. And when I have cursor, it'll be ML cursor, ML Claude, MCP. Number 2, Fathom. This is amazing, and it's available for you. You know, I got the weird award last year from Fathom for how many calls that I did. So I built this awesome tool that lets me essentially find any of the meetings that I've had. And by the way, faceted search all time. I could do, you know, today, last 7 days. This is crazy awesome. I had a call with, these are a couple impromptus. This is, I think, with my last call I had was with Fred, and he won't mind. If I look at this call with Fred, no, that's with Alyssa Kuhn. So I'll go to one. Let's see if this is it. I think this might be with Fred. Bottom line, no, this is with another client. Bottom line, I want to find one that I don't feel bad about. Let's look for Fred. Fred won't mind. Here we go. So if I find calls with Fred, what it does is 3 things. First of all, it gives me access to the original AI summary. This is with Stuart Hoover, actually. I must have used the word Fred. But I can then use the AI intelligence to ask it questions. And when I do, everything that it says or that it comes back with will be stored and saved so that I can use it as content. I can use it for context. I can use it for improving my business. I can also easily, as you can see here, go back to the original video call if I want to watch the video at a certain time code and so forth, right? And that is incredible as a tool because it is so useful. You guys, all you need to do is connect it with your API and you're rocking and rolling. Okay, next is that we've got the flow video. Now, I improved this because we have Google Veo 3.0. Okay, bye, Sharon. See the replay. We've got Google Veo 3.0, but now 3.1. We've also got Sora for creating videos, which is crazy. I haven't connected Sora yet, but I'm going to be connecting it because since we use this intermediary tool called Key, K-I-E, we can connect any of a number of different models. And the Fathom video is awesome because we updated the interface. And now I also simplified it with another tool, which is called the scripts. So remember I mentioned to you that the best way to create stuff is to literally have a tool that makes a simple script. John, this is kind of inspired by you. Good question. So in Fathom, Fathom's videos are private. I looked into the API to see whether or not you can actually import the videos, and you cannot. Now, I could probably use a tool that scraped the video out because if you can see it, you can download it. But the truth is, it doesn't really need that because if you are authorized to use it and you needed to see the video, you click the button, it opens up a modal window and you get to the video anyway. I kind of feel like that's the best of all worlds at the moment, so I'm not going to try to change that. it's very functional. I've been using it every day. And the videos themselves are good for finding out what, but then once you find the information, you really need it in text format anyway. Here's the video scripts. So instead of me dicking around with making videos from scratch and doing all these complicated script generators, I made something much more simple, right? You can do one of these like pre-made quick start templates or a custom one that you build from scratch, but you can also give it your ideas. So if I did cinema action scene, right? Here's where it's super cool. I can use the new features of Veo 3.0 that allow you to add images to start or start and ending frames, or I can even do a long form video longer than 8 seconds. Oh my God, high five. That means I can actually make 30-second clips for you guys to content marketing. You know where it's going, because my dream was to tell you that I'm going to have a fully automated business soon, right? I can use that alone or with AI. So here's how I might do it. I'm going to go get an image and I'm going to select a picture of me from my media library. Right? Notice today's image of me as a 1950s supermarket owner. I'm going to use this image to start. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, it gave me a dynamic energy, fast moving energy. I'm going to say, take the guy in the reference image and make him an action superhero who is running down the street. He's wearing some kind of Marvel Comics type of spandex suit, and he's got big muscles and a cape. And as he's running down the street, cars are flying out of the way and buildings are falling, and it looks like he's going to save the day of everybody in the big city. Okay. Now notice I said take the guy in the reference image. That's about the only important part here. But if I enhance this with AI, it can even, oh, I need to add my OpenAI key. Sorry. I forgot to put my OpenAI key in. So when I put the key in, it will enhance this even further. But the neat thing is I can make any kind of video I want, start and end. I could tell it how long. I could tell it, for example, making it vertical instead of horizontal, landscape. So here's the settings. I'll just do a short one, like 8 seconds, 16:9. Let's do let's do an over the shoulder. Actually, that'd be cool. Cinematic, energetic music, right? Generate a video script. Now, all that I do is I take that and then I post that into my Flow video. Now, I'll probably make the script locked into the Flow video, but the reason I didn't want to is because it's super easy to make videos without the script editor. Maybe the script editor isn't something you care about. Notice you can choose the type of videos you want to make. I could even make it an extended video, but that'll take more time. I click generate. It sends it off and it immediately has a cue that it's being done. And you just literally wait for this thing to convert. Here's the cool thing. When it is done, like here's an old one that I made. You can click and edit the video and you can improve it. For example, you click this button here and it will fix up the title. It will fix up the screenshot or the image to make a new one in AI. So let's look at the video library. Let's actually, we'll look at this one as a model. This was the original. And notice at the time I was testing it, it was coming up with this weird titles and so forth. When I improved it, it came up with this. It came up with a sleek, minimalist product on display. So it made a beautiful thumbnail. You can always improve the title and make a new one, but it also created a cinematic video, which is in the media library ready to use. And if I wanted to change this title again, I believe I can regenerate it. And what it does is it uses AI to take the information that's shown and try to make something that's short and sweet, SEO friendly. This is something that I'm working on to try to see whether or not there's a benefit of making even more controls over it. But what's really nice is we can remake the thumbnail too. It uses the Google Flash Images 2.5 to make new thumbnails associated with the video. That's all it's doing. If I look back over here and we'll see if this is done yet, because it takes usually a minute. When the video is done, and it'll check the status, it will show up at the bottom here and you'll be able to see it. We'll come back to this in a second. Okay. MinuteLaunch Image Composite. This is a tool that I built for products for people who, like me, are working with clients who have WooCommerce shops. You can select, at the moment, 2 slots, because I was using this to make bottles. I have, for example, a project where we're doing WooCommerce supplements for a lot of people that have shops. So if I were to look over here into my media library, I'll show you an example. We wanted to make 3D, really high quality images of the bottles with the labels on them, but we had really crappy bottles to start, and it was frustrating. So instead, I made a tool that essentially takes a Canva label, flat, and then puts it together with the bottle. And, oh, hi, Ann, you're there. Okay. So, at the moment, I'm asking you guys to buy your key credits because you could go hog wild with those, but it does turn out that they're starting to become cheaper. So if you looked over here for KIE.ai, you get a key for free to try. And I don't know where their pricing is, but notice, look at all of the cool tools that are here. So songwriting, image generation, etc. I can pretty much give you guys access to all of those tools. And if you go to the specific video API, I think that's where it'll tell us how much. I think it's 15 cents. By the way, there's a great little sandbox here that you can try. It's, you know, it's really weird. Like, they don't do a better job of telling you. Oh, here it is. So it is, if you do Veo 3 fast, it's 30 cents for 8 seconds. Its quality is $2 for 8 seconds. So, by the way, that right there tells you why I'm not giving you the key. Even if you're paying me $197, like, one of you jokers is going to go ahead and spend $200 in 10 seconds making videos, and I'm going to be out of business. So the point is, this is a premium toy, a tool. You can try it for free. You can use it for free. You go buy quarters for yourself. Here's the actual cost. So this is a good page. And Sora is actually different. Each of them have their own pricing, but that is, I think, a reasonable compromise. All the other keys, Open Router, I can give you for making Google Flash images, and I'll probably have a limiter on there, but at the moment it's kind of wide open. Let's see, by the way, let's detour off and see whether or not Claude, Fernando was hooked up and what he did. That doesn't look like he changed that page. Hold on. He may or may not have the skills yet because I'm still working on him. So what's the URL of the page you changed, please? I think that's a different page because he says it's Spencer and this is Xander. The reason that he's still a little iffy is because when I converted the tools from the Claude to him, there's a few of the tools that he's not 100% right with. It's just a matter of me, you know, persisting and adapting them. But you can see how it works with Claude, so it's awesome. Let's see what he did. Yeah, he didn't get the assignment. He did it, but he didn't use the right tools. So notice what he did is he took the stuff, but he sort of didn't understand where to put it. And that's part of the conversation too. Like, he is not yet programmed properly to do what Claude can do easily, but that's just a matter of me fixing up a few things. So we'll get to that. In the meantime, what he can do is he can get rid of pages and so forth. So, like, we need to work on your Spence style. So that was an unfair thing to give you probably. I'll tell you what, instead of using Spence style, can you get rid of all that stuff on the page about Xander and just use the regular WordPress publishing tools and put it into the Gutenberg editor with a classic block, because I know you have that tool for that. So right now his problem is he can't use Spence style, but he can use the regular stuff. Let's go back and review this, and I want to show you a couple other features. Image editor is the best tool yet, because this is not only mobile friendly, but it's also autonomous, so you can use it with your desktop agent. And this one, I've got a feature in it where, for example, if you go to the media library and create AI image, it has a mobile friendly interface. More fun than you can imagine, because with this, here's where we go to town. I did this with my son. Here's my very handsome son, Jack, and here's Jack, you know, Jack Fro. we can go with this and start, and you can choose any number of starting and ending reference images. And then whether you with or with AI, this is so much fun on a date, at a party, for your clients to make product shots. But go take this guy, and instead of him being a 1950s supermarket owner, make him into a superhero, kind of like Iron Man, and he's climbing the top of the Empire State Building to go get the bad guy. Make it kind of Marvel comic style. And you can change the look and feel of this, change the ratio, the portrait. You can add other stuff in. You can even improve it with AI, which is awesome because it'll put more details in. It understands what you're asking and it can improve upon it. But what's important is it's programmed to use the reference images. So if you put in an image, like you take a picture of something, super fun to go, hey, put me and my girlfriend in the movies, or, you know, blankety blank. So if you see what I'm saying, there's lots of ideas of what you can use this for, but even just using this alone in the reference. Now, knowing what I know, if I leave this image in there, that might not be as good. I would probably just do a better headshot because he can do the body. Okay, that's just a question of learning how to use the tool. So this is one of my favorite tools, but it's also the most powerful because it's enabled for both Claude and Cursor. And when you're creating stuff like I just showed you using the dynamic capability, you can make a website that's inspired by something else, but replaces all of the images with brand new content. You can also use the very same tools that I've been showing you to, for example, go into the Media Hub, and we've done this a million times, get the image importer. So if you need inspiration, you can just do the same thing here, right? And do Iron Man and come up with a million images, whether they're royalty free or licensed is a choice. But then you can use those images too, right? And I can use that as the basis for a scene. So if I took this image here, right, added it in, or I took the hot link, either way, I can actually use this as the basis for putting that other guy into. Or I could tell him to use this as the basis for making an image. Let's see what he actually did. So he did what I asked him to. He made a Marvel Comics style image, and that's super fun. And this isn't me, but what I'm saying is this is an iterative process because you know the origin story, the media library itself stores the original prompt as well as the provenance, so you could continue to iterate on it from here. So see how I have this Iron Man. If I took this, copied a URL, and I went back over here to the other one, this, I could just continue to iterate where I have the original provenance and I put that image URL in for Iron Man, and I could say, take the guy in the reference image who's in the comic and put him in the same scene as the guy in the second reference image so that they're looking like they're working together. Update this from comic book style to the modern cinematic look of the second reference image. And that essentially allows me to take all kinds of stuff, merge it together. I, in this case, created a square shape, change the ratio of the image. Ta-da! Now it's in the media library, and it's, remember, peer-to-peer. I can save it, share it, use it with all myself, my clients, everywhere. I don't have to move it around a million places. And Claude or Fernando can both get to it. So look what he did. He made me Tony Stark, which, by the way, I love that. That's going to be a new screenshot, I think. So I think Robert Downey Jr. is a bit more handsome than me, but when he merged my face onto Robert Downey Jr., I like that. So very, very cool. Let's see what he did over here. And then I want to show you the rest of the couple tools and give you an update on the pricing. I know you guys are very patient. If you're still here, great. If not, I'm doing 3 days of updates in one show. So say la vie. He did, first of all, he did sort of fix things, but he's not well equipped yet with all of the training. And I noticed he's also got this error here. So that's what's breaking some of the CSS. So I'm not going to torture him anymore, but let's just say we understand that he is now capable of doing this. We just need to tweak a few of his tools so that he's up to the speed of Claude. But here's what's neat. I like that you made a great attempt. There's some kind of error because you have this little C data thing. So can you get rid of everything before Spencer form and WP Launchify and see if you can make one more try to fix this before we go? And I'll give him that little C data thing. And this isn't like you have to be technical. You just have to realize he's not using the same tool as Claude. Claude would get this immediately. And you guys are using Claude anyway. All right. So let's keep going here. I have too many windows open. Okay. Let's see, by the way, if the video library thing worked out. The video takes longer, so you have to kind of walk away from it and come back. But let's see what we got. And if it didn't work, then that might be on me. I have to see whether I think I don't have the API key installed, or maybe I need to do something to fix this one. But what I've been doing all week is getting a variety of different tools going, including a couple of the new ones that I'm showing you, and the update systems. So for some reason, it looks like it didn't actually produce the video, and I don't know the reason why, but one of the things I could do is see whether or not it's actually here. And if it is, then that's just a matter of me tweaking some of the tools, which I will be doing this week. And it doesn't look like it made it up here. So this is my account at Key. Oh no, here's what happened. Interesting. It was unhappy when I said the word Marvel. That's what happened. Okay. So that's an interesting thing that I'm discovering what goes wrong. This has nothing to do with my tool. This has to do with the fact that my tool didn't recognize that there's a content copyright auditor involved. Central API management, right? Thank you for reminding me. So let me do this. First of all, let's fix this prompt. We're going to go back to our script. We've got to remove that stuff about Marvel Comics. Okay, I'm just going to make a new thing. If you reference something adult oriented, adult content oriented, if you mention a copyrighted name, Google freaks out. That's it. Take the guy in the reference image and make him into an old... Oh, I got a better idea. Watch this. Let's actually take the grocery store guy and let's just animate me. Take the guy in the reference image and have him turn to the camera, walk forward, and zoom in on his face with a dolly shot. And he waves the camera and says, "Hi, everyone. It's Spence. Welcome to office hours." Okay. That's a really neat way of doing something. And I can enhance this with AI if I had the API connected. But all I really need to do right now is just take this general thing. And again, copy to clipboard. Now let's send this through, because I think that will not violate any terms and conditions. John is asking about the API manager. This is one of the things that's like 2 things left to go, probably this weekend, if all hell doesn't break loose at my end. This is what he's asking about. Too many windows open. Right now, there's like 6 places you have to put API keys in. You have to go into each of these things that need them. Like, for example, the image editor has API here for OpenRouter. If you go to video scripts, there's the settings that you have to put that's why that wasn't working for that. You have to put your OpenRouter key into there. There's maybe 5 OpenRouter keys, 1 SERP key, and 2 noun project keys, as well as your key, KIE key. I'm going to be building a tool at the higher level that says, here's your 5 keys once, and or even a manager that will fill in all of the other keys for you if you're on my system. Just like with LaunchKit, you'll be able to override them, but that way you don't have to fill them in. You just turn it on and it works. And as long as you're paying or your clients are paying, everything else will work fine. So if that makes sense, that's just a mechanical tool. The other part about it is I noticed, which is an unfortunate reality, the way that this system works is this is all dynamic software. And since it's dynamic software, it is not loaded physically, even though it shows up physically as if it was a plugin. The downside of that is that when I am updating the software, sometimes you guys see the software seems like it goes offline. And I realized the reason for that was that when I'm updating the plugins, the original way I did it had version numbers at the end of the plugin. So let's say you had version 1.0 installed, then it's dynamically looking for that. And I changed to version 2.0. Suddenly your site's thinking like, hey man, there's no more software anymore. I changed that. So now it will automatically update the versions and you just refresh the plugin list and it will pull the latest version in, but it will at least have the old version and automatically know to keep the connection alive. So things like that, these are just working it out. Finally, too, with the login, I'm going to be moving to what I call a token system, which is you'll pay on your subscription at WP Launchify, and you're just going to have a token. And that's it. The email thing is fine, but the token thing seems like if I had your email and a 4 or 5 number token, it's like your email and a PIN number for your debit card. That seems like a much more logical way to do it, because right now what's happening is it has to do all kinds of checks for stuff. If I move to a token-based thing, I can make it faster because it doesn't have to go and check against my database of whether or not you've got the authentication. It can have a cached database every hour of these are everybody that's cool. All right. These are little stupid things, but it's a big deal for you user experience wise. Let's see if the video came through or if it freaked out. And this is my API log, a key. So that one, it seemed like it worked. We go to, oh, nope, hold on. Nope, unhappy there. Why is it freaking out over that one? Rejected by Google's content. So they've got an interesting Veo 3 API fallback, which I don't know what that means. I'll have to find out. I'm surprised that it's unhappy with both of those. So let's do one more thing. Let's just do a native one here, okay? And we'll do something that doesn't involve, hopefully, anything that will annoy Google, which, who knows? Image to video. And I'm going to choose it from here. And I'm going to just choose this guy again. Have the guy in this reference image come to life and walk towards the camera while it zooms in on him. And he waves and says, hi, it's Spence from office hours. That's it, man. Now, by the way, I do have a setting here, which maybe is the reason. I've been trying to use the new 3.1, which you have a choice. Let's try to go to the Veo 3, which is still pretty damn good. As of 5 minutes ago, it was just as good as anything. Let's see if that works better. Okay. I do not, John asks, where do we connect to Canva MCP? Here's the thing. I am actually going to probably build a better connector, but right now, all you do is natively to connect to Canva, go into Claude. I'm assuming you're using Claude, not, Fernando. And go into the 2 buttons, search and replace. And then there is a native connector. If you go to the top to manage or add connectors, either one. It is one of the native connectors of Claude that you can attach to Canva. You can also attach to these other services as well, if any of them are interesting. So they do offer a lot of native stuff. They also offer desktop extensions for doing things like I was showing you. File Manager or one of those things could be super duper useful. I think I've got a couple of them. I've got File System. Google Chrome you could use. I use a different one called Browser MCP, but they're both the same. You can try these other ones. I can't tell you if these are going to work or not because Desktop Commander is really good. So actually that one I do like. The reason I'm saying I can't tell you is because honestly, these are all written by other people and we're in early days. So some of them work great and some of them are like, really? So super fun, super easy. Let's talk about the money while this video thing is. So here's where all of this is going. Because I said, how are you going to make money? And this conversation is really, it's kind of the most important of all. If you click to this AI showcase, this is not intended to be at MinuteLaunch anything other than I'm working my way towards the end result of what this is going to be, which is a fully autonomous, creating content on its own every day machine for optimizing my user's experience, yours included. If we go over here to this page, which is the MinuteLaunch AI powered WordPress, this is not anything I built. This is just a placeholder that I asked Claude or Fernando to make for me. And what's great about it is all this stuff can be instantly taken by you or anybody just by saying, here's the page, go take it. Isn't that the way it's supposed to be in the internet? But this is reflective, even though it's not connected, of what I'm talking about. So there's not going to be any $25 or $30 a month or $300 a year. It's over. Those of you who took me up on it, high fives to you. You win, because early adopters win. You got to participate at a time when I was experimenting, and this has always happened. I will honor that price for infinity. Keep those sites. Don't cancel. If you cancel, it's over for those. But as long as you keep paying on those, you'll keep those that were $25 or $250 a year or $300. I will honor those ad infinitum. The win is to you for supporting me. Thank you for that. The regular MinuteLaunch, the one that is $97 a month, has been traditionally the regular WordPress software. I know you understand this, but the traditional software is slowly whittling away. I need less and less and less and less and less of those plugins that are in WP Launchify software bundle. I do not need 108 plugins anymore. In fact, already I only need about 4 of these plugins under most situations. These are going away, but in the meantime, those clients or you who have legacy sites or still use this stuff, or some of these things, of course, like WooCommerce or WP Fusion, or even some of LaunchFlow's Fluent CRM, these are still essential. But this list is going away. In the meantime, the traditional price model of my $97 a month had 3 things: hosting, all of that traditional software, and this is the biggest one, the relationship with Spence. What I am saying to everybody is, it cost me $46 to eat a burrito and a drink at Chipotle this week. $84 with me and my kid. What is going on in our world in the United States? We all know what's going on. So in a world where it's $86 to have a burrito, there's no possibility that I'm offering for $25, $30, or even $97 a month all of the capacity of what this did and all of the capacity of MinuteLaunch. So for intelligent future proofing of what is going on, this is essentially going to be $197 a month for all of the software. I am going to stop selling LaunchFlows a la carte. I'm going to stop selling those Fluent add-ons a la carte. Why? Because the people who buy these plugins now, like LaunchFlows, this is $9 a month. You know who my biggest problems are? Somebody buys LaunchFlows at $9 a month, sends me 94 emails, and then complains about something that's nothing to do with anything to do with the software and wants a refund. Somebody who pays $5,000 from my VIP, gives me the money, gets incredible results, and then never asks me for anything unreasonable again. And unfortunately, that's human nature. And this is why, at the end of the day, I am only going to be offering all the software, $197 a month. Take it for a month, stay, leave. I don't care. I know you're going to stay. That includes the hosted site with the MinuteLaunch, though. So if you do this for clients and everything else, this includes what I am, don't quote me on this, should be a $40 per month referral fee, which means if you send a client to use the MinuteLaunch platform, like go use the Apple iCloud, go use Gmail, go use Salesforce, you can get $40 a month or $480 a year. Don't quote me, but it might be a little more, a little less, but $40 a month out of that as a referral fee, which means you're not worried about the hosting. You're not worried about the support. You're not worried about the software. You just implement for them. And by sending them over, you make $500,000 a year on every client almost. MinuteLaunch and auto memory, that's $300 on top of this, because that auto memory is still a very complicated service that I have to set up and attach. I'm willing to do it if I get paid for essentially the amount of time that and the responsibility that it gives to me. Is it worth $497 a month? If you are running a business of any kind, abso-frickin-lutely, because the auto mem makes all of the difference in the world for how either Claude or Fernando operates. And until or unless Anthropic actually fixes that, there's nothing that's going to make that better. It's just going to be a matter of grinding away. So for those clients who are doing business operations, need to train what's essentially like a virtual assistant, rock and roll. John Lawler asked a good question. No, it is not. Well, today, yes. But if you grab it today, like right now, John, get it. And what I suggest you do, John, is I suggest you get it for the year. Because this is the thing. I am not apologizing to any of you guys for supporting me. I love you guys for that. But I just know from doing the work and what I'm having happen here that I am attracting clients who are coming in with things that used to cost them $250,000 to do. And I'm able to do it for them in an hour with the tools that I'm showing you here. And you can do that too, because that's not from my coding acumen. It is from the fact that the tools know most of what needs to be done when I prompt them. And I will be revealing many of these as we go forward. But I'm trying to say to you, the tools need to keep up with the value proposition, need to keep up with the economy. I hope that we get on the other side of things where the world is more balanced. But right now, I mean, come on, a cup of coffee from Starbucks is like $8.22 for a cup of coffee. What is happening? We know what's happening. I'm not going to talk politics. Managed service. This is a done for you. This is a VIP experience where the same tools exist and the person owns the company, still has full control through their Claude, but they need me to basically be a coach for them in their Claude to get it set up and running, to do all the crazy high-end stuff that I'm referring to. So this to this is having 800 more of Spence available to ensure that everything works, or if not, that there's skills or tools. It is not hands-on work as much as it is available to make sure, like Mr. Miyagi, that Daniel waxes on, waxes off. And because the tools are all configured and set up, this typically goes with a VIP setup, which is to say, I have only two things that I'm going to sell for support: 1 hour and VIP. Nobody ever buys the MVP or Pro anyway. These are like versions of a 1 hour support discounted if you buy in bulk, because I always say to people, 1 hour is 1 hour. That's like, let's make lunch together and you're going to have awesome. But the VIP is where the win is at, because for the VIP, I can sit down and I just have a new client today, Doug, who's going to join our community. You have a business idea. I can help you bring that idea into fruition every step of the way. I can promise everything from the psychology, the strategy, the software, the technology, the experience, the like how-tos, as well as the brainstorming. And to get a complex business, something that has perhaps like a marketplace with other clients buying sites from you, $5,000 is ridiculous. That's trivial. That's like throwaway money. Again, I have clients coming to me this week even who want to spend $25,000 for a fraction of that problem being solved. Because at the end of the day, nobody cares unless it's making money. And for almost everybody, there's so many ways to win. Like, for example, many of you have customers or clients who are spending money on HubSpot or Salesforce or ActiveCampaign. Do you know that ActiveCampaign charges $200 to $500 a month? That Salesforce $1,000 to $1,700 a month, and they don't have even rudimentary tools. If you have clients and customers doing that, you can set them up with these really crazy marketing automation solutions with all the publishing, all the emails, all the stuff we're showing here with Fluent CRM and this system. And you could easily demonstrate how they're going to make 3x on their money from just savings on that lack of having to pay those other CRMs, or for other agencies or marketing agencies and so forth. So the idea is that if I give you guys these tools and my services, there's no commission on my services. My tools will be available to you to send your clients to, but then you're going to do like we just talked about. every single one of the capabilities that's built into the MinuteLaunch is virtual software for which you can then have MinuteLaunch build stuff. Because whether you use Claude or you use Fernando, it can go ahead and create everything you want. So for example, hey, Claude, I just want to remind everybody, you can actually create plugins live on that site using our skill set for single page WordPress plugins, right? And this is what I did with Julie. I did this with Fred. I did this with Xander. I did this with Alyssa. I've done this with Doug. He can just code stuff live while he's doing it, right? So I'm going to say he's connected to MinuteLaunch. And let's see what he's got here. And we'll finish with this. He's got Minute. So you've done this before, but since you did some awesome stuff here, make just an amazing, simple, single file WordPress plugin that demonstrates on a page something cool and dynamic with the images you created, and make it fast. Do it like really quick. And on MinuteLaunch.com, install it, activate it. You don't have to be a coder. He can do everything. If you call it she can do it. It can do it for you. It's going to make an image carousel. It's going to put it dynamically on the site. So when you have ideas, business ideas, not only can it make the stuff, but guess what else it can do? It can create the thing I'm showing you here, which is like the initial sales page with all the features, the pricing gets started. It can create the product to sell the product that you just made for a client, and it can send them the email. In other words, from start to finish, it can be helping you make the stuff that you sell to the clients, but also market to the clients, and also make it easier for the clients to understand you and you to understand the client. Let's see what he does here. He made it locally in this case, and he's actually zipping it and installing it, which is one way to do it. He can also just write it in the site. And let's see if he gets, let's see what he's doing here. He's doing it. Oh, I am going to remind him. You know, the easiest way to do it is, instead of that, just take the code. You have a tool inside of WPMCP to write to the files. Just write it directly as a plugin. You don't have to upload it. But if you wanted to upload it to the media library where it'll be available to you. So I actually knew how he's doing this. He's like trying to invent how to do this. I should have been more specific. So this is one of these things. If I told him in advance the skill to use, I have a skill called writing plugins. He wouldn't guess. He's like a kid in the kitchen. So see, I reminded him, right? Oh, here's the best method. Okay. Yeah, do it right now, real quick, because I want to let everybody go to eat lunch. So if you guys have other questions, we'll see if he succeeds with this, which I know he will. And today is sort of the fire sale. If there is anything else you want to buy from the current site, I will still honor it. I'm not going to honor any more $25 a month or $250 a year thing. So I took that down from the website. But if you want to do the 10 site $297, I will do that. If you wanted to do, and by the way, that's the sites, John. That's not the MinuteLaunch AI. That's the sites. If you wanted to do the 9700, I would do that. But that's just, make sure you're clear on what you're getting there. The 297 is for sites, just the rocket sites. Okay, so we did this. And let's see what he installed. So I didn't really give him great instructions. Let's see what plugin magic he made for us. And I would usually ask him to make it more specific. Can you help me to help everybody? What's the name of the plugin, please? And how do I use it? Office hours demo. There it is. Office hours demo shortcodes. And I have 2 new shortcodes, which is fine. Well, do me a favor. Why don't you set up a page for me that shows that instead of me doing it, and then give me the link to the page? make sure if you can use Spence style so that it looks nice. Okay. All I have to do is give them the keywords, use this tool, do this trick. That's how memory works. That's how skills work. It's like if you told your client, like, file that brief or, do these interrogatories or something, you don't really have to say it. They know what it means when you use a shortcut word. And that's what we're trying to do with a language model, is to replicate what the humans would do in that case. And let's see if we finish with a high five win. Affiliate links. John, if you need, I'll set you up with the affiliate links. There is in your account, it says affiliates. So if you're a WP Launchify, I think there's a public page. Let's see, hold on. If you type affiliates or in your dashboard, you go to your affiliate dashboard and you can make links to anything and I will keep you square. Okay, here's the demo. Let's do a win, and then we'll see if the video got made or if Marvel Comics got in the way. Okay, so he made a live demo. Here's the testimonial shortcode. Is it supposed to scroll? What's it supposed to do? Get started today, different color buttons. Okay, let's see how it works. Live results. Oh, I see. It's doing it here. Okay, what is this supposed to scroll or what's it supposed to do? I see the page is awesome, but can you make it so it actually does something when you configure it? I think what I'm trying to say to him is like, hey man, do something that moves on the screen. He'll fix that. Let's see in the meantime, before we roll here, if our video spit out. And apparently we're having still some trouble with the APIs. So I'm going to have to do a little work on the key Veo connections this weekend. It happens. 3 failures by Google's content policy. I have no idea that there's nothing wrong with that. I know there's nothing wrong. So that's just a bug. We'll fix it. Okay, so now he says the blue button scrolls to this testimonial. Yeah, but what about the plugin? But in any event, I meant you made a plugin. Where's the plugin? I wanted you to demonstrate the plugin. Oh, that's what you mean. That's what he's going to say. See, it's like weird because I become conditioned to him more than he to me. Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right. You guys know, if you've ever used this stuff, that like after a while, the behavior of certain LLM models, their language is sort of funny and predictable and it's kind of charming, but you can train them to be more serious, or like I told you, I told them to slow down. But I don't know what he's going on about. Hopefully my instructions are good, but in the meantime, let's just see if we look at the plugin. Oh, there you go. Okay. It's got live working examples. That's what I like. Live working examples. Okay. Click me. I'm from the plugin. Okay. So that's a link to something. What does that do? Oh, I see. It shows how to do stuff. Multiple testimonials, example button colors, how to use this, copy the shortcode, use it on your page. Button text. Interesting. I'm not sure whether or not this is like awesome sauce because I didn't tell him what to do. But the fact is, he's got a plugin and he gave me the instruction set. I think that's what he thought I was asking for. I'm going to give him one more try. Okay, that's cool for the instructions. What I meant was, can you make some sample data, put the shortcode into a page, and make it actually show the testimonials? And I assume those testimonials are scrolling or moving or something to demonstrate that you could write that kind of a plugin and get it activated. Can you please do that? He's saying it's working, but I would like it to actually do stuff so that it's dynamic. There we go. It's really weird because a lot of what my work involves is experimenting by throwing stuff into the microwave oven or the stove and seeing what comes out. I realize that we assume a lot when we say stuff, and only after practicing or trying do you learn, I really need to say this differently. And when I do, that's when I'm trying to document, save it as a memory, as a skill, and share it, but also to build in safeguards or rails that make this easier in the future, not to have to repeat myself, or for you not to have to say all this blah, 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 just to get to it. All right, so let's see what he comes up with. Okay, let's see what we got. There we go. So now I see what's going on. So beautiful scrolling, testimonials. We could have them make AI images or do real client images. Here's the featured success stories in a block view. Here's in a vertical view. I understand what he's doing now. He's got book your demo. We already know he could change the look and feel because we see him do it today. I think that was a pretty good example. So hopefully you guys are on the same page where this is going, why it's going. There's lots of stuff I haven't shared with you because holy cow, my plate is full, but I have the ability right now to connect almost everything to anything. My biggest problem is there's only one of Spence, and my back has been doing pretty well when I sit, but you know, I'm 59 in a month. So, or not even in in a week or so. I realized like John said to me, like, it's unsustainable for me to do 12-hour days sitting. So what I'm trying to do, and I'm going to do it this weekend, besides working with several of you, is I'm asking all of you, especially those who know me, get in now. If you have to take a loan, I don't care. Take a loan, get a credit card, spend $5,000, get in with me. Let's get you set up. I know many times that's a financial burden, but I take credit cards. Why? Because what's going to happen, I can 100% guarantee you, is that this weekend I'm going to streamline my whole business. I'm jettisoning off everything that doesn't work, and everything from this point forward, there's going to be a starting point of $200 for no help, $497 with the auto mem, $1,297, $5,000. Several of you are already in partnership with me in some capacity. You have clients who will pay out the nose for this, because for them to spend $5,000 and $1,297 a month or whatever is not a problem when they are shown how quickly they can save all the other money and time and effort. And what this is able to do on the back end is do full-blown operations. Everything from marketing to mapping to sales to subscriptions to accounting to legal to creating the sales pages. Just to do one last proof and pudding. Okay, do one last thing. Show everybody how you can take what you just made. It's a product and the testimonial. Make a brand new sales page. Use the actual skills that we gave you earlier, except in this case, make it in the style of MinuteLaunch.com with my colors, as if you were going to sell this. Make a product that sells this particular solution as a plugin for $97 one time, and set up the actual product so that if you click the call to action button, it would put it in the cart. Take care of all of that while I say goodbye to everybody. And do that on MinuteLaunch.com. Oh, and by the way, you can also write the HTML5 email and put that on a separate page. Hurry up, I'm getting old. Now, I don't know if he'll do this all in 60 seconds, but like, imagine how much time it would take you to do what I just asked him to do. Now, he's got auto memory. He could call up because I told him, go find your stuff, go do your thing, make it into sales, make a product. He has all these capabilities because this is Claude. He's actually imbibed with the capacity. MinuteLaunch, I believe, let's double check, has WooCommerce, hopefully. So I'm not asking him something he can't do. Yes, it does. Be sure, by the way, that you don't like ask him to do stuff he can't do, because then he's going to just go in a circle like, what? Dad said to do this stuff. I'm going to stand up. And what I'm saying is, from a money standpoint, myself and other people who've been in WordPress for a while talk a lot, literally all the time. And I think we all have a similar sense of enthusiasm, exhaustion, exuberance, incapacity, amazement of, we spent 18 years digging holes in the backyard, and now suddenly we find ourselves at a place where there's amazing new things in the world. Some of my friends just stick with their old stuff. And they're like, listen, man, I'm done. I'm old. I'm fine. Some of them are like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to make all these cool stuff with the new ice cream machine. My take is, I feel like my last hurrah for the next 20 years or so will be taking the crowd here in WordPress and using WordPress as the basis for all these cool new things. But by doing so, I'm going to be jettisoning all of the nickel and dime, like go down to the flea market folks and all of that mindset, because that is just no longer interesting to me to even talk about. It is exhausting to me when we live in a world where I can do this and people are arguing over $9 plugins that they're trying to connect to 400 other $9 plugins. And they're arguing over the 2 weeks it took them to make, a single headline on a page. It makes no sense to me. It is literally like the living embodiment of Ludditism, where, what do you mean those mills? I can sew a yard of fabric a day. And I just don't have the patience for it. I would rather take people who are like, Spence, get me a seat on the rocket ship. Here is the product. Okay. I didn't ask him, we're not going to use the product to do stuff other than the placeholder. Here is the sales page he created in the style of MinuteLaunch for the product he made, by the way. Ignore the stuff at the top. That's just something quirky about me. Professional testimonials and CTAs, get it now, one time. Guess what he did? He did his own screenshots. He knows what the features are. He used the testimonial in the testimonial feature thing. He said, what is it good for? He made the call to action. He had the add to cart. This is an add to cart that works. It'll click and go to the janky product page, but we can also have it go to the checkout. I didn't tell him what to do. He can, by the way, create an image or get an image using your media tools for the product and replace the default image on the product page with that. So he can do that for me, by the way. Okay. Here's the email template in HTML5. Oh, look, I shit the bed on the last thing. Wouldn't you know it? Let's look at the email template. This is HTML5. I would probably give him a different template. So I'm going to do one last thing. Just why not? We ran out of tokens in the last chat. I had asked you if you can replace the product image with one that you generate dynamically using your MinuteLaunch media tools or the Media Hub tools. Also, the email itself is a little janky. Can you look in your auto memory for how I prefer to do email templates, like the ones I do for the office hours, and make it look like that instead? Now, what I did is I essentially open up another chat unfairly because he's in the Xander Holt project, which means he has very limited context other than me telling him AutoMem, which is how AutoMem bridges the gap. But that's how he's going to fix this, because he's working in MinuteLaunch, but I'm in the wrong project with Xander Holt, but AutoMem goes outside. Now he can find the HTML template format that I suggested to use, and he can fix this, but he can also go and make the images and so forth, which he's doing now, and all will be well with the world. Now, imagine you set him up on a semi-autonomous basis. Hey, do this stuff while I'm sleeping, or hey, work on these things while I'm doing other stuff, or hey, busy day today, let's do these 5 things. He can keep track, he can organize, he can work with other agents. If you're using Cursor, for example, Cursor is nice because Cursor, I can notice at the bottom here, I can have like 10 new agents. I can launch more agents than I can shake a fist at, and they can all be working on the same thing, one website, in conjunction with each other. That's pretty crazy. Sometimes I have 8 or 10 of them working at one time across different projects, and then they bring their results into the same project folder for the end result. Claude can kind of do that, but not quite, because Claude at the moment is just a single shot agent. As far as I understand, you have to be working on one desktop at a time. You can do multiple browsers, but they can't necessarily do the things directly into the website. So that's where the, it's not a compromise. It's just I got a bicycle, I got a car, they both get me somewhere. Okay, let's see if he's finished this. And then I'm going to say bye-bye because I'm tired. My back hurts. I'm supposed to have a call with Fred. Okay. Here is the new email. Looks amazing. This is a new email. Ta-da! And look what he did. He created a new computer application simulation of office hours. Here's the download. Now, those of you who are wondering what the hell I'm talking about, remember we talked in the early days, that was a sample link, but like, remember we were talking about in the early days about how he can distribute? He could take the plugin he wrote, put it into the deliverable for the WooCommerce product. This whole thing is done, signed by Spence. Okay. The product itself, I'm quite sure that he fixed. So here's the product. Let's see if he put an image in there. I'm going to tell him, hold on. Update the product image on the Office Hours Demo Shortcode plugin that you made so that it has a nice image in it. Okay, if he screws something up, that's fine. And if I want to make it easier for him, I can just give him help and put the URL in, just like I would if I was a good boss. I used to run an office of 12 people in a law firm, and I would usually try to help people by going, this goes to this, thanks, not like do the stuff. Okay, so you get the idea. All right, so at the end of the day, I don't know what else to add other than today was a good catch up. I feel like I did 5 days of stuff. You guys have been very patient who are still here. That's crazy 2 hours. I'm going to leave it at that other than to say, join me if you would like in getting what you can before the prices change. But even if the prices change, that's not a problem. This is not extortionist pricing. These are value laden. I can guarantee you that if you have any contact with the real world, even if you do decide to go for a VIP, you can make the money back on the fact that these services will pay for themselves, let alone the sites. And then again, if you can build a base of relationships, I think going forward, as these new tools come online, you're not going to have to invent anything. You're just going to do what I'm doing now, which is to use the actual tools themselves in a way that is profitable. Okay. He's got one last thing I'm going to share with you, and then I'm going to say goodbye. He's finished up. Here is the final page. And let's see if he still didn't do that, but that's okay. He says he's got the image. He said he added to the sales page. He didn't understand, maybe because I didn't give it to him. I'm not going to spend more time with you guys here. If I told him the location where to put it, he can put it. Maybe he'll do it real quick. I hope you guys will join me. I hope you guys find this working as I promised it would. I'm quite surprised myself. And again, now my voice is tired, but let's see if he can fix it. Oh, the store coming soon. That's what's throwing off. By the way, he can only see things through the public page. So he figured out how to get around it. But notice I could see the site. He couldn't see the site because it was in coming soon mode. Now he's setting it, and we should be done. And I'm going to end with a high note. My friend Vince DePinto, who I haven't seen for a couple of days because I think he's remodeling his porch, we've been having conversations. Usually we have lunch on Fridays. This is the kind of stuff that he eats up because his clients are salt of the earth folks with businesses that use WooCommerce. What I contemplate happening, and this weekend I have a few of those prospects, is that I have a few folks that needed websites that were based upon something else they liked and their product line. So I have a few challenges to see if I could just feed the data at the top of the funnel and just have him do start to finish. And if I do, they will make a fantastic skill set that should work. I'm waiting to give him a chance to see if he makes an image. And then we'll be done. So if you follow my drift, if I can turn that into a skill along with these tools, you can just go out looking for any Tom, Dick, and Harry business on the street that needs a ready to go setup. And then either get them in the base level, get a base level with you doing a VIP for them. You do the VIP. Doing something where we work in collaboration, or even doing like I showed you at the beginning, where you make a custom application, or at the end, turn that into a zip. The idea is you can do any of those things without being a professional coder now. And yet it's not a vibe coding scenario, because it all ends up in the same place, in the same spot, with the same interface I'm showing you here, which does not require you to go, like Fred and I were talking yesterday. He's using a platform called Abacus before we started doing his site. Abacus is great, but it's got 800 limitations, and he can't actually sell that to a client because the client would be stuck on Abacus and weird stuff ensues. With this, you can actually get to the end result. I'm patiently waiting for the last thing. Those of you, by the way, are still sticking around. You're a real troopers here. 2 hours is a long time. My back is telling me it's 2 hours. Usually by this point, I should have stretched. Come on, kid, you can do it. I don't know what it's doing now, but it's saying the product page is working beautifully. Let's see, maybe I just have to refresh. Ta-da! And we end with a win. So I'm going to call Uncle and say, thank you, Claude. I'm going to tell him thank you, Claude. You are amazing. I love you. You did a great job today. Okay. And that's all I got to say about that. And I love all of you guys for sticking around and believing in me. I am really excited for what the future brings, because it's going to be wild, but we're equipped no matter what your age. I welcome your questions, invite you to join me. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks, guys.